When Ryan moved into the old two-story rental at the edge of a quiet town, he wasn't expecting much. Just peace, solitude, a break from the chaos of city life. The house was modest, creaky floors, outdated wallpaper, and drafty windows that whined in the wind. But it had character, and for Ryan, that was enough. The first few days passed without incident. He unpacked boxes, made coffee, played music too loud. At night, he'd curl up on the couch with a book or flick through TV channels before dozing off. But by the end of the first week, strange things started happening. At first, it was small, minor. He'd leave his phone charger on the kitchen counter, only to find it on the living room floor. The bathroom mirror fogged up while he was out, as if someone had taken a hot shower. Lights flickered occasionally, not violently, but enough to make him pause. He blamed it all on fatigue, moving stress, a brain trying to adjust to new surroundings. But then came the sounds. At night, always between 2 and 3 a.m., Ryan would wake up to soft, deliberate thumps above him. Not the erratic scuttling of rats or raccoons. These were methodical, slow, like someone was pacing across the attic floor. He'd lie there frozen, listening to each creak and groan, counting the steps as they moved from one side of the ceiling to the other. Eventually, curiosity, or maybe stupidity, got the better of him. One night, flashlight in hand and heart thudding like a war drum, Ryan pulled down the attic ladder. The hinges groaned in protest, stiff like they hadn't been used in years. Cold air spilled down into the hallway, brushing his skin like icy fingertips. The attic was dark, deeper than shadow. The narrow beam of the flashlight barely pierced the blackness. As he climbed the ladder, a foul smell met him halfway, thick and sour, like rotting meat and mildew. He wrinkled his nose, pushing forward. The attic was mostly empty, just dust, insulation, and cobwebs that clung to his face. In the far corner sat a wooden box, old, splintered, barely held together by rusted nails. Inside were toys. Not the kind you'd buy today. These were decades old, broken, dirty, worn with time. A porcelain doll with a missing eye, a stuffed bear with half its fur torn away, and at the bottom of the box, a tiny, red sneaker. Child-sized. Something about that sneaker made Ryan's stomach drop. That's when he heard it. Behind him. Breathing. Slow, deliberate, ragged breaths, as if something stood just inches away, exhaling against the back of his neck. He spun around, flashlight shaking in his grip. Nothing. The attic was empty. Still. But the air felt different now. Heavier. Like it was watching him. Ryan didn't sleep that night. He shoved the attic ladder up, jammed a chair under it, and sat in the living room till sunrise. The next day, he called the landlord. "I think someone's been up there," Ryan said, trying to keep his voice steady. "Or something. I don't know."
There was a pause. Then the landlord sighed.
"Oh, you heard it too?" Ryan blinked. "What do you mean?" "Last guy said the same thing," the landlord said casually. "He left in the middle of the night, never came back. Said something was walking around up there." Ryan stared at his phone in disbelief. "Why didn't you tell me?" "I figured you wouldn't believe it," the landlord said. "Most folks don't." That night, the attic ladder opened by itself. Ryan found it down when he got out of the shower. The same old wooden box was at the bottom, though he swore he hadn't moved it. The lid was open, and the toys inside were arranged differently. The doll now faced the hallway.
From then on, every night brought something new. Cold spots in the hallway, doors swinging open, the smell of decay wafting from the vents. Scratches began appearing on his arms and back. Thin red marks, always in sets of 3. He started locking his bedroom door, but locks didn't help. One night, he woke to a whisper, so close it might have come from inside his own skull. "Do you have my toy?" He bolted upright. The room was empty.
But the attic ladder creaked, slowly descending. The voice came again. "Do you have my toy?" Ryan ran. He left the house that night, taking only a backpack and his car keys. He drove straight to a friend's place and never returned.
He broke the lease over email. The landlord didn't protest. A week later, the listing was back online. Same rent, same photos. No mention of the thing that walked in the attic or the voice that whispered in the dark. But it's still there, waiting for someone new, someone to play with. People in Willow's End didn't talk much about the library anymore. It stood at the far end of town, wrapped in ivy and shadow, a crumbling relic from another century. The sign above the entrance had long since faded, and the glass panes and the heavy double doors were cracked like spider webs. Most people just stopped going, but not Ellie. She was new to town, moved in with her aunt after college to take a break, which really meant hiding out from life for a while. One gray Thursday afternoon, needing quiet and something to do, she wandered in. The air inside was thick. Dust hung in beams of dull, golden light. The librarian, an elderly woman with silver hair and a voice barely above a whisper, didn't even look up when Ellie entered. Just motioned to the shelves. Ellie spent hours there that first day. It was strangely peaceful, the smell of old paper, the squeak of wooden floors, and the silence. Thick, total silence. The librarian finally looked at her. She kept coming back. Each day, she'd pick a new section. Folklore, history, ghost stories. It became a ritual, a small comforting habit, until the day she found the book. It wasn't on any shelf, just lying on a windowsill in a back corner she swore she'd already explored. The cover was leather, brittle and black, with no title. Just a single word scrawled inside the front cover in red ink. Return. The pages were yellowed, edges curling, but the text was strange. Not printed, but handwritten. Dozens of entries. Names, dates, and something else. Confessions, maybe? Rituals? Warnings? The last page was blank. She brought it to the front desk. "Someone left this in the back," she said. Her eyes were wrong, pale, unfocused, like she was staring through Ellie, not at her. "You shouldn't have touched it," she said softly. Ellie laughed nervously. "It was just—" "Did you read it?" the librarian interrupted. "A little. Why?" The woman didn't answer. She simply reached under the desk and handed Ellie a slip of paper. It had her name on it, and that day's date. Ellie left. That night, she couldn't sleep. The air in her room felt heavy. Her dreams were disjointed. Flashes of the library, empty shelves, the librarian standing still in the dark, watching her. When she woke, the book was on her nightstand. Same black cover, same red handwriting. She hadn't brought it home. She stared at it for a long time, then with shaking hands opened it. A new entry had been added. Her name. The time, 2:44 a.m. A sentence written below it. Do not forget to return. Over the next few days, things got worse. Books in her house moved, lights flickered. She started waking up at exactly 2:44 a.m. to whispers, soft and hissing, like pages turning in the dark. The book was always nearby. Even when she tried to throw it away, burn it, bury it, it always came back. Once, she left it at the library steps and ran home. It was in her fridge that evening. Desperate, she returned to the library, marched up to the front desk. "You need to take this back," she said, slamming the book down. The librarian didn't move. "You signed the page," she whispered. "I didn't. You opened it, you read it, you accepted it." Ellie backed away. "What even is this?" The woman tilted her head. "It's not a library like others. It's a record, a ledger. It remembers who takes
and who never returns. She slid the book back toward Ellie. There's only one way to be removed from its pages. Ellie never found out what that meant, because the next morning she was gone. No one in town seemed surprised. Aunt said she probably just moved on, but her room was still full, clothes in the closet, food in the fridge. The only thing missing? The book. It reappeared on the library's windowsill a day later, open, a new blank page waiting.